guys, welcome back to Tom Mods Things. Today, as you can tell, we are not in the shed. We are in my office today because we are doing a video that's slightly different to the norm. So rather than you seeing me wrench away on either the Peugeot or the Porsche or even that GoPed project as well, what we are going to be doing is, from previous video you saw that for the maxpower 106 we picked up some Chrome Alba Banks. And they were cheap, but they were cheap because they are missing two of the centre caps. So obviously really old wheels. You can get hold of a replacement cap for them, the second hand, but they are, just for the one cap, is more than I actually paid for the set of wheels themselves, so not going to happen, frankly. So what we're going to do instead is we are going to take the cap, the centre cap, this one here, and then we are going to reverse engineer it. So we're going to take it, we're going to take all the dimensions, create all the freeform shapes, and then recreate that cap completely. We might even change the logo on the front. Then we're going to take this, and then you can see one of my printers in the background. We're going to take it and we're going to 3D print a mock-up for it, and then potentially need to tweak it slightly more as well, because you may not hit it first time. And then we will reprint it again, double check, and then we'll send it off for final manufacture. And then after it's manufactured, we will get it metallized. So effectively that's kind of what this has done anyway, because this is actually a injection molded plastic part that they've then coated afterwards to give it this chrome effect. So in essence we're going to be doing the exact same process as what they do on the original caps, but we're going to be doing it with our own twist, so we can tweak and change it to our heart's content. So anyway, we'll crack on now. So I'll flip you around and I'll show you what the process is from start to finish. Right, so our journey begins with, in essence, what we need to do is we need to take some of the overall dimensions of this. So the main ones I'm looking for at the moment are kind of our main diameter all the way across, and then we're also looking for a highest point of thickness. So looking at the bottom of it, what we're going to do is ignore this little stub for the moment, because we can kind of add that in afterwards, and for this particular sort of the start of this operation we don't really need to worry about it. So what we're looking for is effectively this peak here at the top of this curved surface, and then the bottom of this face as well. So we're looking for that thickness distance there to give us our overall boundaries, and then we can create cutters and freeform surfaces to then take out this underside, because I can see not only do we have these little sort of dip channels going all the way around, but then we've also got a singular surface that runs all the way through here that's sort of a bowl shape. So we'll be able to sort of create that and get it as kind of close as possible, but crucially what we're looking for is kind of this edge all the way around the outside to match. The inner side of this really could be anything, it doesn't really matter too much, but we're going to try and get it as close to that as possible. So in essence what we are creating is initial drawing kind of similar to this. So got 153mm going all the way across, and then on this one now we are actually looking at only 12mm in height. So that's giving us our main thicknesses, that one, this one. So what we'll do now is we're going to start the CAD, and basically we'll get this initial shape done, and then we'll start to take some measurements off of the lower points and the higher points on each side to create this across here, and then we'll also start to create these shapes going around here with this angle coming up. And as soon as we start to create these, we can start to manipulate them, because I'll make sure the model's all sort of parametric, so that you can tweak all of the different settings so that we can adjust it until it looks right. So crack on with that now. Right, so just to explain what I'm doing now, so I'm taking lowest point from here up to here, which is then what's giving us this sort of parallel line from the bottom up. And what I've done is I've taken our point, which is what I'm going to classify as the centre point now. Noticed obviously on this shape it's not like a straight shape all the way through, it's got a bit of an angle to it. So it looks like the cylinder that makes this is kind of coming in at an angle like this, rather than being totally perpendicular to the bottom of this. So what we're doing is we're creating our perpendicular line here, and then what we will end up doing is we'll chuck on a plane in this area here, and then we will have ourselves, using that line point from plane on this one, this can then give us an angled line all the way through, and then on this angled line, what we'll do is we'll sort of parallel this one up along here, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to find what the centre point is of this cylinder that runs all the way through. Now the centre point's probably up here somewhere, which is then creating a much bigger cylinder, which is what's cut through. So in essence that's what we're doing now by creating a paralleled one like that. We can then chuck a cylinder over the top of this, like so. Just do that for the moment so you can see what we're starting to get here. So if we made that say slightly bigger, so 30, then there you go, start to see how that cuts through there and starts to look like what it needs to. So what we'll do is we'll sort of add a pattern onto this now and cut them all into each other, and then we'll start cutting them into this and seeing kind of what the shapes look like before we then start to define this top surface. So we're kind of basically doing it in stages. We're getting our outer cutters ready, and then we'll redefine this centre shape, which will update the flat surface that we've got on there at the moment, which is this one, which we just did as sort of an offset to just give us boundaries, and then we'll basically just tweak sort of the direction, height, angle of these, and then we'll adjust the curvature of this top surface so it kind of looks right. So now if we look, what I've done is I've been looking at just measuring quickly distance between here and here, basically just trying to work out approximately what we need to get for this. So what I've done is basically, you can see at the moment starting to sort of get near-ish to what we need here, but obviously with this one on here with a flat surface, it's going to create a different shape on these as soon as we add that in. So now we've got our kind of defined edges on these pieces, kind of our first stab. What I'm doing now is setting up points so that what we can do is we can take these two edge points and we can adjust this centre point, and what we can do is from there kind of add on a sort of spline that runs through all three of those points all the way across the part, and then from here what we can do is we can revolve this around the centre. Bit 360 might as well, and as you can see here now we're starting to get a sort of a surface through the middle. So actually I could probably just trim this in rather than replace it out, which will allow it to work pretty quick. So do that, do that, and then boom, just like that. You can see we've obviously changed what these pieces look like. So if we tweak this and say put it up to 7, those should get bigger, yeah, see there. So sort of heading along the right sort of line. So now what we're going to do is we're just basically going to play around with all of these shapes until we kind of find something that works. And then once we found something that works for kind of what we have going on here, then we can kind of lock it in really. But yeah, it's just going to take a bit of messing around, so I'll probably get back to you when I've managed to find the solution. Right, quick update on where we're up to. So this is kind of where we're at now. So we've got a sort of pretty close, I think you'd agree, sort of shape. What we've done is added in all the fillets now as well, and then we've also called it out. So as you can see there, we've kind of got it so that the thicknesses are all looking correct as well. So what we've got to do now is, as I said at the beginning, we were going to ignore this little sort of spigot piece. So now what we're going to do is just measure this and then cut that into this surface, and then after that we can look at what we're going to do about this logo situation. Boom, now we have it. So now we've got our little spigot feature in there for mounting this back to the wheel itself. So what we can do now is, I think we'll probably ignore the logo for the moment, but what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to 3D print it. I think based on using the least amount of support possible, what we'll probably do is print it this way up, so that all this infill section doesn't need to fill in here, and then we'll just unclip it from this top surface. We don't have to worry so much that the surface isn't going to be great from sort of quality wise because of the support material that will go over the top of it, but at least what it will do is get us to the point where we can test it as quick as possible. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this into Cura, I'm going to get it sliced, and then I'm going to load it up either onto the machine that you saw behind me, but I think more than likely we'll put it on my Creality, sitting just over here next to me, as you can see. So we'll just whip it out and chuck it on that machine afterwards. So we'll crack on with that now. Right guys, so support material has been removed. As you can see, it's a little bit rough and ready on the top. That's just where the support is, some of it's stuck to this top surface, but we knew that that was going to be the case, which is why we printed it kind of this way around, so that we had enough time really to get it out as quickly as possible and test all the fitment. But what this will do is we'll chuck this on the actual wheels now, and then we should be able to see what the fitment looks like, and it should be pretty much spot on. So right in place, and then just around the edge. So yeah, look at that, absolutely bang on. So all those measurements that we did earlier have paid off really, and everything is looking pretty much spot on, to be honest. Might make an ever so slight tweak just to the rad on here before we send it off to production, but I would say that's a damn good job, to be honest, because obviously going from nothing from an original cap to one where you've now got a 3D model that you can adjust and tweak and add your own custom stuff to is a pretty big deal. So I think what we're going to do now is we're going to take the model that we created for this. As I say, I'll adjust just the little rads on the top here just to make them a little bit sharper, just to match the spokes a little bit better. And then what we'll do is we're going to stick our logo right slap bang in the middle, and then we're going to send it off for proper production, which is going to be a slightly different 3D printing process. We don't have one of those machines in house at the moment, but what it means is we can get some really nice quality parts, and because I've got quite a few suppliers and stuff that I've used in the past for various bits that we've used on other projects, they do a really good price, which is great. So yeah, so I'm going to crack on and get all that sorted and sent off, and then no doubt probably in the next video, or maybe the one after that, depending on when they turn up, I'll show exactly what those look like. But for this video, that is going to be it for this. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Slightly different content to what the usual stuff is, with me working on cars and doing sort of mechanical bits and bobs, and a little bit more of kind of what I do as a job day in, day out. Be it that this is sort of a home project, so slightly different, but at least it gives you sort of a taste of what you can do. There is free software out there available for you to crack on and start doing a little bit of, or sort of playing around with a bit of 3D CAD and stuff, and then yeah, this sort of stuff you can get the hang of and then start to do it yourself as well. So anyway, cheers all of you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. See you later.
Would you come over if you really